Are you up for a spine-tingling exploration into a hunting combat zone? From spooky lights and haunting whispers to incomprehensible paranormal events, this is a video that will have you wondering where the lines between battle, history, and the supernatural are. Join us as we investigate the eerie rumors surrounding Observation Post Rock, a seemingly harmless military station in Afghanistan. But before that, prepare yourself for a genuine story of terror, mystery, and the countless lives permanently lost in Helmand Province's sands. In the rough landscape of Helmand Province, Afghanistan, stood Observation Post Rock, which seemed to be a great place for the Marines to watch what was going on. It was on top of a 30-foot-high dirt pile and looked out over the wide poppy fields of the area. But this place had a strange feeling to it. Strange lights flickered in the night sky, whispers echoed through the darkness, and the air had a chilling presence. It seemed like the post itself had ghosts. But what was the actual story? Well, stay tuned to this video till the end. Over time, the Marines and British troops who were stationed at Observation Post Rock started to figure out what was going on around their base. After many failed military operations, the area was now run by the Taliban, and the people who lived there thought it was cursed. The post had become part of a story that mixed history, religion, and the supernatural. It had become the setting for a ghost story that was tied to Afghanistan's constant wars and the deaths of many people. The canal system, built during the Cold War and paid for by the U.S., gave the Taliban free access to the nearby towns and drug fields in Helmand's Garmsir district. But things were different 12 years ago when the Marines came to Garmsir to get rid of the Taliban. The high dirt pile, which the Marines called the Rock, gave them an edge over their enemies from a military point of view. Corporal Andrew Rouser was one of the first Marines to be put in charge of the base. He could clearly remember the first time he saw the post. As he looked around its base, he found small tunnels that led to a single room with an old building that could have been a fort or a grave. The news made him feel cold all over. Later, when the Marines destroyed what they thought was a defensive position for the Taliban on the mound, they found human bones hidden inside the rock. Over the next few months and years, as American forces came and went from the base, more bones turned up, adding to the mystery of the place. These bones were not new. They were probably decades or even hundreds of years old. A local teacher from Garmsir, who spoke on the condition of anonymity out of fear for being hurt, said that the hill used to be a fort, but its purpose changed hundreds of years ago when local people and finally ethnic Pashtuns began to see it and other similar buildings in the area as spiritual sites. They turned these buildings into places to bury people, giving them deep societal meaning. It is thought that the fort was built before the 1740s, which is before the Pashtuns came to Garmsir. The Safavid, Mughal, and Ghaznavid powers, as well as Alexander the Great, all left their mark on the area. People in the area often called these mounds, of which there were many, remnants of Maliko Tawafi. Maliko Tawafi is an Arabic and Persian word for a system of government led by local kings or leaders. The rock was probably used as a cemetery until around 1980 when the Soviet-Afghan War started. The scholar told about a terrible thing that happened during that time. The insurgent leader, Nasim Akhundzada, and his troops took about 40 Afghan communist police officers near the village of Amir Aga. These officers were taken to the top of what became known as the Rock and put to death there. Many of their bodies were buried in the raised ground, but some family members were able to dig them up and move them. Local officials didn't believe this story and said that Akhundzada wasn't in Garmsir when the communists were there. As our story goes on, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel to keep up with us and find out more interesting stories. In 2008, when the Marines left and British troops moved in to finish building the rock, the base got its image as a haunted place. Jose Herrera, a former Lance Corporal who spent time at the Rock in 2009, said, "It's a way for paranormal things to happen." He and many other Marines saw things that couldn't be explained, like strange lights, scary radio static, and a strong feeling that they were being watched. People in the area often told the Marines that it was haunted. The smells were like something was dying, said Corporal Herrera, who has since left the Marine Corps. At night, it was very bad, and it seemed to come in gusts or wisps. Tom Coughlin, who used to work for the London Times, followed a group of Marines who were stationed at the Rock during the summer of 2009. Their experiences were similar to what Corporal Herrera had said about his, with sudden changes in weather, lights that couldn't be explained, and voices that echoed through the night. The Marines told Coughlin that there were things that even with their battle-hardened minds, they couldn't understand. One Marine said he heard Russian words at night. When a new group took the place of the ones Coughlin had talked to, they were told that the station was haunted. At first, Corporal Dutch Perkins, a member of the backup team, thought the stories were just made up. But while he was on guard duty at the lone machine gun position from midnight to dawn, he heard a voice in Russian from a long way away, as if someone else was there with him. Two rusted Soviet armored personnel carriers, which were destroyed in 1982 during the Soviet Union's failure to advance into Garmsir, were the only signs that Russians had been in Amir Aga. The fight, which is told about in the book, War Comes to Garmsir, was the most famous thing the Soviets did in the area. With its important sites in large towns, Amir Aga had become a symbol of defiance and a place for people to meet. Abdul Ghani, who has lived in Garmsir for a long time, says that after the fight, the whole area became holy. As the Soviet tanks got close to the shrine of Amir Aga, they suddenly sank into the mud. Ghani thought this was a sign from God and that the shrine was protected by Amir Aga, a respected Muhammad descendant who had lived in the area for hundreds of years. Afghans thought that shrines were places where wonders happened and that they could change not only people's health, but also the course of history. Ghani has stated that a few tanks have been buried underground where they would remain all of the time. Due to the fact that dozens of individuals lost their lives in the region surrounding Amir Aga and the Rock, people continue to view it as weighty and hazardous. He stated the area is full of dead bodies and haunted. Observation Post Rock, which was in the dangerous area of Helmand Province, was a lesson of how war, faith, and the unknown all go together. Its status as a place where ghosts lived and stayed, leaving a mark on the minds of those who had worked there. People who tried to climb the strange dirt pile that looked out over the poppy fields kept having nightmares about the past and unknown forces. Because of this, Observation Post Rock became an important part of the eerie history of Afghanistan, which will never be forgotten. As we wrap up this chilling look at Observation Post Rock and the haunting effects of the Afghanistan War, we come to a deep realization. The horrors of war go far beyond the world of the living. Hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay updated on all our latest videos. And please don't forget that the truth is often hidden in the dark, ready to be found. Until next time, keep wondering and exploring.